life. Somebody say keys to life. Come on, say keys to life. Like you mean it. Say keys to life. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Number one, what's worthy of your thoughts right now? What's worthy of your thoughts right now? Get it in your head. What's worthy now? This is the thing that you will continually have to do for the rest of your life. There is no way of getting past it. There's no way of changing it. It will come to you. It will be a problem probably for the rest of your days until you see Jesus. You have to ask yourself. You have to mitigate. You have to manage your thoughts. When? Right now. And then in 10 seconds, right then. You have to decide what's worthy of what? My thoughts. Because if you do not figure out what's worthy of your thoughts, you will allow for the devil, you will allow for demonic forces, I don't care what you like to call it, you will allow for yourself, your own self, your soul senses to remind you or to tell you something that is not beneficial to what you need to achieve at this present moment. And that sometimes you won't have nowhere to go and you don't have anything to do, and you still will allow yourself to think on something that is negative, something that is not beneficial to you, something that does not help you. And when it's a bad thought, it does not belong. Why does it not belong? Because we don't have time for it. You have to understand that. You have to know that. In all the time that you have, which you do not have much, time goes just like that. At what point do you have time to think about the negative? You only have enough time to think about, to manage, to look at what you didn't get right and how you're going to get it right. You don't have enough time to bring yourself down. You can look at it and say, that wasn't good enough. This is what I can do to be better. All right, we're set. Now push yourself to become what? Better. But you do not have enough time to think about what does not matter. So when you're in a relationship, or when you're on your job, and when you're dealing with friends and everything that you deal with in life, you have to ask yourself, is this worthy of my time? Is this worthy of our communication? So if our voice escalates to a certain point, we aren't beneficial to the situation or each other. So let's bring it back down, and we have to, what is it when I see you, what do I need to think that puts me back on the right plane, that says this is what I need to do? When I look at my life, when I'm in class and I say, oh, dang, I didn't do well. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I only have a few seconds of a few minutes of, okay, this didn't go well. Argument, this didn't go well. What are we going to do about it? That's the management of it all. You don't have time to argue and to complain and to frustrate yourself and to become overly emotional about a situation. Ask yourself, I don't care, woman, man, whatever it is, you do not have enough time in a day to sit there and complain to people about what they have done to you, how they mistreated you, no. I feel this way because of this. They heard you, move on. Now, I forgive you. You don't have to tell them you forgive them because you, out of your pride, I'm going to forgive you because no. I just forgive them. And I can hug them, and I can kiss them, and I can tell them that, oh, I like what you have on today. I don't have, see, church, because what happens when people play church, other people see you playing church, and they think that's how Christians are. But that's not how we are. That's not who we are. I told you last week, what you see today is what you see on the street. What you see on the street is what you see everywhere else. I can't change it for anybody because I need to be who I am. One of the things I find to be very interesting when you talk to people that I just need somebody to understand who I am. First of all, who you are should be one. But number two, the who you are, it ought to be in him. And in him, I see my areas. I see my problems. I see who I am. So I have to what you say to me should not be new to me. Whatever you say to me should not be new to me. It should be, I heard it. I've moved on. You say, what do you mean you moved on? I acknowledge had a bad day. I apologized. Now, one of the things I tell to my kids, and Zion will tell you, I kind of like hit him with it first, was you apologize to God, you apologize to the person that offended, and you apologize to yourself. You fix it with yourself and move on. You understand what I'm saying? You fix it with yourself and you what? Move on. If you don't fix it with yourself and move on, what are you doing? What exactly have you gotten? What have you figured out? You have to have it in your mindset that, okay, I messed this up. You know what? You did this didn't work out. But if I don't move on, what have I done? I've started to bring myself condemnation. I started to bring myself pain. And if somebody consistently reminds you of what you did, they're not beneficial to you. You can love them, but that don't mean you need to talk to them all the time. Because they're going to remind you of what you did. And you can't. All right. I don't want to stray from it, but I do have to deal with it. So when I deal with it, it's like you have to understand it doesn't matter what relationship you're in. If I'm talking to Kai and things aren't, and I can't consistently say, but that's you, and you did this, and you did this, she can't change like that. Flip it on the other side. Talking to my son. He's like, Dad, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. It didn't happen the way I expected it to happen, and so we had a conversation, and I was like, this summer he was like, go and do this, do this. On one part of me could say, sounds good, keep it moving, and I don't believe it. But that's not my job. One, number two, no matter the difference how I feel, his choice is what? His choice. What do? I say, doesn't matter what you did, what is the mission today? This is where we're going? Then that's where we're going. So how can I help you, what? Today. What happened, I will make it as elementary as I can. Lion King. It's in the past. You understand what I'm saying? It's in the what? The past. Why are you focusing on something that happened and not what's happening? You've got to focus on what's happening. I can't benefit him, her, or anybody else telling them what they were. I have to tell them who they are. I have to see, and because if they tell me who I was, I'm going to say to them, but that's who I was. Who I am today is what we're dealing with. And so I need for you not to condemn others, but I need for you not to condemn yourself. Is it worth my thought pattern for these 3 minutes, for this 10 minutes, for this 5 minutes? No, what do I need to think about? See, a lot of people go to, and I'm not against counseling, and I'm not against therapy, I'm not against any of those things, but some things we don't really have to do if we would just focus on the Word of God and do what we are supposed to do. It's always going to start where? Here. So if it's not good for your mind, it's not good for you to think about. So what is good? All those things. We go to Philippians, the 4th chapter, and the 8th through the 9th and the 9th verse. Whatsoever is, and he lists the list of things that are good. And you focus on those things, you'll never focus on the things that didn't matter. You can fix what you have to fix, but you will never fix what you have to fix focusing on what went wrong all the time. How do I fix what went wrong? How do I become better? And then every night, that didn't work, this will work, fix it, move on. And that's how you keep your relationship, no matter what kind of relationship it is. I don't care if it's you and your boss. You keep thinking about what they did, how they reported you, how they wrote you up, and every time you see them, you see the write-up. But they're your boss, they're your supervisor. So how do you focus on that? What do I do? I can't keep thinking the negative thought. I have to figure them out. And we spend so much time thinking on negative. We never study our children. We never study our boss. We never study our husband or wife. We never study our relationship. And so you get into a friendship thinking you're going to get married, don't know who they are because you don't study them. People are people that consistently do the same things over and over again. How they do what they do, you'll see it and you'll be able to know whether it's worth time. But that's way too much for me to tell you in the middle of this thing. So I just want you to know that you have to figure out what you have enough time to think about. All right, moving on. Number 2, being 100% or being excellent makes you win, lose, or draw. Makes you win, lose, or draw. Let's put it that way. What I mean by that is the more you try to be excellent at all the things you do in life, the less you lose. Now, let me explain. We take someone that doesn't really do a lot well, and they start stepping their game up here, stepping their game up here, stepping their game. Oh, thank you. Okay, we take Reg in the back, okay? And he starts moving and working his cooking skills. Then he works camera skills. Then he works communication skills. Then he works drum skills. And he starts picking up things and he starts working harder. And he works on how he presents himself and his style of dress. And it becomes what? Consistency. And it goes higher, and it goes higher here, higher here, higher here, higher. Now, we talked about 5 things. So all those, and they keep getting better, keep getting better, keep getting better. On your day of 80%, most people don't really notice that much. If you're at 75% and that's your max out, and you're at 45% on a bad day, everybody notices that you suck because you weren't great in the first place. Not great at excellence, and not great at being able to do it, but great at excellence. 2 different things. Great at being able to do something rhythmically, just talented and gifted, is different than excellence. Excellence says, I give you 100% of what I got in a great manner, in the best way I know how. It doesn't matter how much I'm ignorant of. If I'm pushing, you'll see my what? Push. You'll see my effort. You'll see my effort every day, and it can't be ignored. It doesn't matter what level you're on. Excellence will never be ignored. I will see how much you don't know, but I will see that you have so much push, I can't ignore you. So then, therefore, people that usually are pushing all the way, someone starts to show you something. They have no choice because you can't be what? Ignored. You ever see somebody real ghetto, somebody really, really, really bad at talking to people, but people follow them? And so you put them in a place of what? Management and supervisorship, but you want to show them how to speak to everybody because they can only get to a certain group because other people can't handle them because the way they talk, but everybody loves to listen to them. You have to understand this. What I'm trying to get you to see is that if you are putting yourself at 65 and 70% in your relationship, when it gets down to 30%, they want to leave you. Yeah, they do. You want to know why? Because you weren't doing much in the first place. This is, hear me out. It sucks to hear. It sucks to hear. It really does. But if you don't hear it, if you don't acknowledge it, if you don't look at it, what you end up doing is believing you are better, and you believe that we are all at a level of high class, and we are not. Because otherwise, you would never have levels to learn. You can't, it's like saying that my child is, I love every single one of my children. But everything they give me, for example, a comedian said, you don't put it on the refrigerator. I'm like, you should shade that in a little bit more. You went way out the lines on that. I can't really stick behind it. Good try, but you can do better. What am I saying to you? I'm not saying that you bring someone down. I'm saying to you, and I'm trying to bring it around short, is that you have to understand that the more you put in, at a higher level, the less you lose. But if you don't put in those levels, it does not leave leniency. And leniency, or what we consider to be mercy, is the thing that all of us need and none of us seemingly give. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is, example, something was going on with the organ. Don't know. But he moved from one spot to another spot, because he worked in that spot before. What else do I have in my arsenal that will get the job done? in a relationship, you're not good at this area, but you are good at this area, and y'all arguing. Put on what else I have so that we can stop arguing and we can figure, there's something you like about me, there's something you love about me, there's something I can, you've got to get this in your mind. I don't have to lose, I choose to lose. I choose to lose. You're like, oh, the relationships is not working. What do you look like every day? What do you present every day? Where are you every day? We've got to stop saying that we're giving 100 and we're not giving 100. We're not giving 100. It doesn't provide for mercy. It doesn't provide for leniency. And for anybody that's totally prideful, then this is going over your head. But if you really, really want God to move, if you're tired of waiting for something else to happen and you want things to work out, you consistently press and push and it gets better. It will. But someone's got to see that you did better than the last time. That you worked harder than what? The last time. That you've got more than what you've just presented, more than what you just put out. You've got to be able to show that. God uses us in many different ways. Sometimes he puts us in places for us to see our weaknesses. If you see your weakness and you don't oblige or change or turn to your weakness, what happens is he allows you to see your weakness, people see your weakness, and your gift does not what? Go before you. Your reputation is that they are weak, your reputation. And so what you're doing is you're killing your reputation because God showed you what you're not good at, and he wants you to see what you're not good at so that you could take it the right way. But you went to the first part of our points, which is that you took so much time thinking about what you don't do well and how you can't make it and how nobody loves you and this, that, and the other. So you didn't do anything with it. Or you can take it and say, I need to be at 100% of my excellence and I got to work harder tomorrow, and then I'm running it. Okay, moving on. All right, number 3. Lazy people, which are people that use laziness, I'll put it that way, laziness will have you lose. Laziness will have you lose. Nobody, and I mean, I can't think of too many people that will acknowledge that they operate in laziness. They will say, I get angry. They will say it was something else that happened, but nobody wants to say they lazy. Nobody wants to say they lazy. Nobody. And you can say, I did something. No. But what you don't want somebody to tell you is that you lazy. Because why? Lazy looks disgusting. It gives an appearance of you don't do nothing. And you like, I go to work every day. How do you go to work every day? Or I play this, I do this. Well, how do you do that? Are you looking for somebody else to achieve most of the things and you get the award? So the sooner or later you will run out of opportunities. Write this down. Sooner or later you will run out of opportunities. Now, it could be with a relationship, it could be with your job, it could be in sports, but God gave you what? Opportunity. What did you do with the opportunity? Did you give 110%? That would take us to what? Our second point, right? Okay. But if you didn't do anything with it, you got a relationship. You looked at all the things that person wasn't and not the things that person was, and you said, it don't matter that I lost him. No, it does. It really does. It absolutely does. You were lazy. You did not do what you could have done. You have no idea. You've been with them for 4 years, don't know what their love language is. You care less. You know you want to be loved, because lazy people are 9 times out of 10 selfish people. Real quick. Any sin, most major sins have what? Limbs. So a tree grows up and then it has what? A limb. And then from that limb you see little pieces and little pieces. That's how sin works. So if I'm lazy, it's likeliness that I'm pulling on selfishness and pride and it consistently, these little tributaries all the way through. And so what I need you to understand is that they're killing you, and you have to figure out how to pull out, not to be the thing that you really are. So laziness causes for what? More laziness. Why? Because if you get away with it, you will get away with it tomorrow. And if you get away with it tomorrow, you're going to try and get away with it. And then you feel like when someone says, well, I've been doing this, and they're like, well, you shouldn't stop doing what you're doing. So you're not going to continue to do what you're doing because I didn't do anything? Isn't that wrong? That's how lazy people get you. You see how they flip that right on you? So you're not going to love me the way I need to be loved because all of a sudden you feel as though you haven't been loved right. Yes! I've been waiting all this time. I'm thinking, God, this person's got to do it. So I'm going to keep on working. And this guy, you told me to keep working, and you told me to keep working, and you told me to keep working. And that person's like, so why don't you keep working? You ain't right if you ain't to keep working. They haven't figured out that they losing. See, God gives opportunity. And what people don't pay attention to, whether you like it or not, God gives the ability for you to make a choice. We are not God. We should look like God. We should act like God. We should be the way he called us to be. But at some point, you get opportunities, and the opportunities fall out. That does not mean God still does not have love for you. It does not mean that God is not for you. It does not mean that God will not give you another chance maybe 5 to 10 years down the road. But sometimes you moved and you missed some of your things because you were lazy enough not to go get it. And most people think that the scripture from the day of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of God suffering violent and the violent take it by force, they all thinking it's flipped the opposite way. No, he's talking about you. Your violence, your aggression, your ability to go after. He put it out there. You don't take it. You do not. The Christianity faith is seemingly very lackadaisical, in and out. One day I'm Baptist, one day I'm Pentecostal, next day I'm Muslim, then I turn around, and then, you understand what I'm saying? And then you flip back, and I always loved God. You here and there and everywhere. Because it feels good and it seems good to you right then and right there. It is very difficult to do what God has called you to do and be who God called you to be, because he sent you out alone, knowing that you're not alone because he is always with you, and he needs you not to be lazy about the situation that is at hand, because if he gave it to you, he gave it to you to keep, manage, and take higher. So stop losing on your situation, because it doesn't matter how old you are. God gave you stuff to manage and have. So when I teach my kids about their gifts, I push to them to practice their gifts so that they would manage it well and become who God called them to be and never lose. And you don't want, so don't lose on what God has given you. If you see a door that's still open, here's the key. And the last thing I'm going to say, if you see a door that God still have cracked open and you messed all of it up and the door's still cracked open, fix it now. Run through it now. Get back on it now, because the door will close one day. And